Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro, and today we're looking at verses 9 through 14 in Psalm 78. So I said yesterday, Psalm 78 is a maskil of Asaph. This is a teaching psalm, and it is 72 verses long. That's why we're dividing it in half. Probably we should divide it even further than that, but I don't like to go too long in one psalm, so we're going to do it in two parts, this week and next. Yesterday, Asaph set up for us his reasons to do this. He wants to, be faithful to Deuteronomy chapter 6 and teach the children and the children to come all the wonders of God, so that they might set their hope in God and not forget His works. Now today he begins by telling us, or giving us an example of somebody who forgot the works. So verses 9 through 14. The children of Ephraim, being armed and carrying bows, turned back in the day of battle. They kept not the covenant of God, and refused to walk in His law, forgat His works, and His wonders that He had showed them. Marvellous things did He in the sight of their fathers, in the land of Egypt, in the field of Zoan. He divided the sea and caused them to pass through. He made the waters to stand as an heap. In the daytime also He led them with a cloud, and all the night with a light of fire. Now let me stop there at 14. We'll get some more of that tomorrow. I know you want to go on and read more, don't you? I do too. 15 through 20 is tomorrow, so we'll get there tomorrow. So, the children of Ephraim being armed with bows. So we know that Ephraim was a major part of the northern kingdom. It's one of the leading tribes. And it had property in the north. That's where its inheritance was. And so Ephraim and 10 other tribes split off from David's kingdom, and they formed the kingdom of Israel. David's kingdom stayed in Judah and in Benjamin. But they formed their own kingdom. Ephraim and the other 10 and the other 9 formed their own kingdom called Israel, and they just completely turned their back on the worship of the Lord. They set up the golden calves, they adopted the Baals and the Ashtoreth and the high places and all of that. So there was a great deal of wickedness that came in because of the fact that they forgot. There in verse 11. They didn't, they kept not the covenant, refused to walk in His law, forgot His works and the wonders that He had showed them. Marvelous things did He in the sight of their fathers. Okay, now here's the fathers again. Notice that. So remember, we're going back to verse 3 here. We're remembering what our fathers have told us so that we're not going to hide them from their children. If Ephraim had remembered what had happened with their fathers in Egypt, they might not have turned away, but instead they forgot. They forgot what God had done with their fathers. And we go all the way back now in verse 12 to where? To Egypt, to the Exodus. We're always going back to the Exodus because Israel is always remembering Exodus, because that's when God delivered them and made them a nation and called them unto Himself. The Bible says that He's called His son out of Egypt. Well, that's exactly what He's doing here. He's calling His son out of Egypt, and Asaph is asking us to remember that. Remember what God did. This is an example of His tender love to His people. Marvelous things did He in the sight of their fathers, in the land of Egypt, in the field of Zoan. He divided the sea, caused them to pass through. He made the waters to stand as an heap. What's He remembering there? Well, in 12, we're remembering all of the wonders that He did to release the people from Egyptian bondage. In 13, He's dividing the sea, letting them pass through. They passed through, but the Egyptians couldn't. And God judged the Egyptians there at the Red Sea. So He's remembering that. Let's remember now that in the daytime, not only did He deliver them from Egypt, not only did He divide the sea, cause them to pass through, but He also led them with the cloud by day and all night with the light of fire. We now remember the column, that smoky column that led them, which became a fiery column at night, so that they had the light of day and that pillar to guide them, and at nighttime, light. They were not afraid. They had comfort because God's presence was there in that fire. So we're remembering now, aren't we, what God did. He delivered them. He divided the sea, made them to pass through it. He gave them light at night and guidance during the day. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget what God has done. So we can go back to Exodus chapter 13 and even before that and find all of these wonders recorded for us. Let's remember them and let's be sure to tell our children about them. Now join me tomorrow. We're going to look at verses 15 through 20 here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.